Hi there, Joe Sallen of the Sallen Coefficient here to tell you about how to make the most of your time at the table. I'm going to give you a board game review together with an entertainment efficiency rating to let you know whether or not this board game is worth your time. This game is called Rajas of the Ganges. It is a worker placement game in which the main resource you're going to be using to convert into other resources and to pay to build your own specific little player board area are dice. It's a dice manipulation and dice resource game. You're going to be able to mitigate those dice with a little bit of luck mitigation factor built in terms of karma, letting you flip your dice to another side. Anyway, you're going to be building up your own area, and most of what you're doing in this game is connecting like bonuses to your central palace, and then those bonuses are really what's going to sort of keep you staying afloat in this game. It almost feels like a game where you're really trying to stay above the water, to stay with your head above the water, and the way that you do that is by keeping dice in your supply. And it seems like you can really bounce back and forth by using something to get dice, to then keep on getting more dice and letting you build more things, which are going to slowly inch your markers, your money being one of them, which you actually will spend going up and down, and then also your fame marker, which you never spend, so it's just essentially like the points in the game, and every money is worth like a half point of fame. You're just looking to get those two meet at the end of a round, and then the first person to do that wins the race and is the champion of Rajas of the Ganges. So, there are a few things I'd like to go over about the way that you play Rajas of the Ganges. First of all, this game is extremely intuitive, easy to teach, easy to play. Players almost immediately know what they're doing for the most part. It's a very well notated, like the actual, what they call hieroglyphics, the symbology in the game is very well thought out. It's very simple and easy to follow, and generally once you've got about halfway through a game, you know just how everything works, and there's a lot of things that don't even need explanation just because of how well they have been designed. And I also think that the art here is something that is extremely colorful, good looking. It looks busy on the board, but it's not nearly as complicated as the game looks. It is really a simple game at its heart. So you're going to be simply putting a worker from your supply on the board and then taking a resource. A lot of times you end up doing something really simple like just getting a single die, or if you end up with dice that you don't like, you can spend a worker to just re-roll all those dice, or you can spend a die to get two dice of another color. I mean, a lot of it is just like simple conversions like that, where the resource is dice. Now, this is really similar to another very popular resource management game called Stone Age, except herein lies the main difference between Rajas of the Ganges and Stone Age that leads me to recommend Rajas very much higher than Stone Age. In Rajas, you get to roll your dice and then decide what to do with them. In Stone Age, you have to make a lot of decisions without knowing necessarily how many resources you're going to actually get, how much of a specific resource you're going to get. You're also able to actually manipulate those dice in Rajas, even though it's on par with, like, say, Stone Age, you know, weight-wise and how heavy it is and how long it takes. It's something that just goes much, much quicker. You don't have, like, this sort of different area cards and stuff. It's all very centrally focused on these building tiles onto your player board, which feels kind of like Carcassonne, like a little light element of Carcassonne, and it's really about bouncing bonuses. It's a bonus bouncing game, and that's really entertaining to be able to get a bonus here, which then gives you 3 coins, which gives you a bonus on that track, which then gives you a bonus on the river, which lets you move up, then getting you 2 more dice, which lets you set up for the next turn. That's like the perfect feeling that you get quite a bit in a game of Rajas of the Ganges. If you like bouncing bonuses or bonus bouncing, whatever you want to call that, this is definitely the game for you. Now, that is going to segue me in here to talk about the actual Sallen Coefficient for Rajas of the Ganges. It has very low overhead. Everything in the game is very intuitive, easy to teach. It looks really cool. It has things that you can do with dice in most every situation. And it's just all in all, it plays really smooth. One of the biggest things here is that in between rounds, in almost every game that I play, I feel like there's always like, oh, well, round's over, let's set up for the next round. Okay, 10 minutes later, when everybody is finally back to focusing in on the game after all that setup is done, Rajas of the Ganges doesn't have that. It's just like, fetch all your workers, all right, next round starts. All the stuff that's shuffled in the game is placed in stacks so that when you take one, it's already got another one showing. I mean, it is the smoothest playing game that I think I've played of its weight, definitely in the last year or two of releases. And I don't think there's many other games that are this smooth that use this many mechanisms. So it is a really great feat in so much as just how smooth it's able to make what is I consider medium weight mechanisms seem much lighter than they really are. That's why I'm going to give this one the Sallen Coefficient rating of an 8. That is a very high tier, excellent game. Now, there's only one tier higher that I've ever given, that's 9s, and this I think, it could have pushed a little bit more. The randomness of the dice could have maybe been mitigated with a little bit more, just maybe a little bit more fleshed out systems and some of the different things you can do maybe being a little bit more varied, because it does feel like everything is just about getting dice, manipulating dice, and then spending dice to get those buildings. But it's all what makes it so easy. So it's tough for me to really ding this one all too much. An 8 is an excellent score, so I highly recommend this one if you're looking for entertainment efficiency. Now, where does it sit for me? And this is where I can sort of get subjective with this review. I love what I call modern dice games. Modern dice games involve dice, but they let you do more than just roll to see if you succeed. It's more than just dice combat. It's using dice as resources and letting players mitigate the results on those dice. There has to be some sort of a system built in. Here, the karma system is present, but it is definitely not something that you're going to be just getting a lot of and being able to do a lot. The interesting part of it is that you're never going to re-roll dice unless you take that one special action, but you're not going to be re-rolling dice very frequently. Instead, you're going to be flipping those dice, so you really quickly learn what's on the opposite side of a 2. By the way, it's 5. Yeah, 1s have 6s, 3s, 4s. Actually, I'd say maybe the worst thing to roll in this game is a 3 because of that, interestingly enough. But I have some dice games that are really close to my heart. One of them is called Troyes. It's spelled Troyes, and it's just something I really love. And that game has much more interaction between players. In Rajas of the Ganges, you're almost not even interacting. It's very much a Euro. I'll take that first. Not much else you can do. In Troyes, you're actually purchasing other players' dice. It's just much more interesting that way. The other game that this one will immediately get compared to, because it has artists is the same, and it's has dice as resources, is The Voyages of Marco Polo, which is one of my favorite games. I did a long view episode on it. I absolutely love the game. And I heard that as a comparison when I first got Rajas of the Ganges. And so my feelings towards Rajas of the Ganges were like, I had these expectations that were like, ooh, it's supposed to be like Voyages of Marco Polo, but it's, it's got this really cool Indian-looking flair that just is, it seemed like it was going to be really, really interesting. And then when I played it, I was like, whoa, this is nothing like Voyages of Marco Polo. Voyages of Marco Polo has you, it is so crunchy, difficult decisions, strategy from the very beginning, and you've got, player powers that make it vastly different. What happened to me was I played Rajas of the Ganges, and so immediately my expectations were shattered with that first game, but then it was like, hold on, I shouldn't be looking at it from that angle. This is a really cool game if I look at it as a worker placement and a simple sort of lower level, easier game. And then I tried playing the advanced game that came in the box, which is adding a little bit of more to the way that you get bonuses, and it just didn't do as much for me as I was really hoping that it would. And so I feel like for me, Rajas of the Ganges is kind of relegated to a game that I'm only going to play when I'm teaching new people how to play. It's not going to be one that I'm really going to look to bust out when I've got a group of my core gamers, core game group that really loves playing intense, thinky, crunchy games. So I don't think that Rajas is really going to get up to that point. And so for me, it's a 7. I love the artwork in the game. It almost pushes it to that 8, but to me, artwork cannot really help a game out that much. It's something, though, that this game certainly has a place in my collection. It might not be the closest to my heart, but it definitely has a place at a lot of game tables I'm going to be sitting down to, and that's why I think you should check out Rajas of the Ganges. If you are looking for Rajas of the Ganges, you might find it on GameSurplus.com. They sponsor my videos, so thanks very much to them. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you'll check out other Sallen Coefficient videos, and also my 60-second how to play videos, which I'm now calling my how to play speedruns. So lots of people love doing speedruns in video games. We'll check it out with board game explanation. So anyway, check out the next Sallen Coefficient video, and that's it for tonight. I'm Joe Sallen. Thank you for watching.